If this is yours truly, DJ Private Ryan, and you're looking at Loop News TT.
No introduction needed. We're familiar with you. But how are you? Thick of the carnival season. How are you going?
Thick of the carnival season. It's very hectic already. We're very close to the end of the line where it's going to be carnival week. So, it's going to be an intense carnival week, with me, especially with events starting from Monday straight up until after carnival. So, just
and I hear your voice done.
I got wet, It's the best I can tell you. I got wet.
Well, can't play massive for Freed powder.
I ain't Freed powder and apparently not Freed water. So,
But tell me what you have going on. I've seen all the projects rolling out on Spotify and things like that. How has it been working up to especially long season carnival?
Well, it's a process. It starts months in advance from the event side and the music production side, because from conceptualizing the beats and then, writing on them, then getting the artist actually recorded, then, packaging it and rolling it out. I just had my last release maybe about a week ago, which was Mila's final song, which is Conqueror. It's always fun working with the artists and new concepts, and I'm already fast forward into summer and next year already, so it's exciting.
What are you most excited to see evolve over this carnival season? The music itself is evolving. We're hearing things on the full-blown rhythm, for example, we're hearing some Trinidad elements coming into the soca music. Watching that evolve as a DJ and a producer yourself, what's that like for you?
Well, the sound of soca is changing. It's in real time right now. You see, as compared to the previous carnivals post-pandemic, I think this is the most excitement going into carnival. Just with the trending, it started with Kokoti, and then the Big Links Rhythm, came and was popular. Now in the midst of the road march race, which is now Party and Carry It, which is going head to head. You have the interest in Pan, so you have the Batman and Voices there with retro. There's a lot of things just happening in real time that is making for a very fun and holistic carnival, because all elements are kind of firing on all cylinders. So for me, it's not one-dimensional, and then the events have been well attended so far, even though people were wondering if they were going to do well or not. But so far, the events have been doing well without the foreigners here yet. And then when the foreigners come, they bring their energy, and then it's going to be one massive thing.
Well, yeah, Trinidadians deserve a party too.
Exactly, Trinidadians have to party. We're party nation. You know that.
Looking at how, like you mentioned, the music evolving, soca itself evolving, and figuring out your place there, because the music you produce has always had an undertone to it. It's always been soulful in one way or compelling in another. Where do you see yourself falling? How does your sound evolve within all of this?
My sound, in terms of evolution, I've always been one that wanted to push the envelope in terms of how things sound, what we can do, how can we improve the writing. So I always try to come with a world fusion kind of soca and go in different pockets. So if you listen to a lot of the stuff I did this year, they're all varied, from doing Japanese soca to doing an anthemic soca, which is Fete and Champion with MX Prime, doing the sensual soca with Mila, which is Bumper Drop, then doing things for the road like Ben Over Miss, Loose, and those things. So for me, it's just about having fun with the music. And making sure that when you present it, it's, it represents me and it's versatile, because that's what I want to do in terms of presenting the music.
Well, you are the most versatile DJ after all.
It would really make sense.
And I actually do want to touch on that a little bit. Soca Starter is almost like how a lot of people in the diaspora understand that carnival has started, or understand that there is a build. And I don't know if it's because that means there's enough music out to make a Soca Starter, but the interest in Soca Starter signifies so much for people. Did you know that it would become what it became for people?
Well, I hoped it would have created the legacy that it did. The reason why I named it Soca Starter, which was a unique name, was to indicate that, yes, this is the start of Carnival. This is the first wave of music you need to know. These are the things that you need to, put into your system first in order to understand what Carnival is going to be, going into the season, so that you're not lost, right? How it's grown over the years has been organic, so more and more people spread it and look at it as the first wave or the first Bible of soca that you need to know. You try to make it as condensed as much as you can because, trust me, it's not easy because it's hundreds of songs that come out and you have to cut some to make it now fit into a certain time frame. And then Soca Brainwash is the longer one that, that's everything. So, there's that dynamic there. So, I didn't expect it, but I still, keep doing it, keep at it, and making sure it's a legacy mix.
But that's the thing. It really is a legacy mix if you think about it. Because the way for us, or at least my age, it used to be when I hear Buju Banton playing or Sizzler playing, it's time for you to wake up and clean your mother's house on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
That is Soca Starter 2015 for the next generation, just so you know. And that's a real thing. Like I've heard kids talking about, so that's what that is, because they still listen to Soca Starter now that they are old enough to party. Did you think that this would be something that you've been carrying on for this long? How long do you feel like you're going to keep up with it?
I don't know, because I know it's a hard question. Nothing lasts forever, but, I know the importance of it to the culture and to the impact it's had or has on the season itself. So a lot of people don't know the soca until that mix comes out. And so if I one day don't do the mix, then I would hope that there's something or someone that has something as impactful to then inject into the season. Or I carry on the mantle to someone else and then let them do Soca Starter if I don't do it.
So maybe a Lieutenant Ryan coming.
Maybe something like that. But because I know the importance of it. So it comes with responsibility too. A
lot of responsibility. And that's actually a good point, because for you, it's not just DJing, it's not just making music, but you've created experiences for people in Carnival. And that's a big responsibility that you've taken on. And somehow every single year with Soca Brainwash, you find a way to exceed people's expectations. How do you stay on top of all of the elements that make that event as great as it is?
Stay open to everything. From traveling and seeing events, you can feel and be inspired by different things. So I could go to a festival and see one thing and be like, that would be amazing. How could I make this come to life in a soca way? Or you can feel voids where you are in an event and you're feeling what's missing. Or you could sit in silence and just be inspired to create something different. So with every year, because Soca Brainwash, evolved from where it was in its inception straight into an all-out music festival now on Carnival Saturday. I always like to scrap it down and build it back. So it's never the same event. So, this year doing Comic World is going to be a massive spectacle. Cosplay is a big thing. And so everybody is really excited to come together now and be the characters. And I've already, in my head, scripted 2026. So I already am excited for announcing that theme. Staying on top of it so far has been easy just because I naturally like to create stuff. I like to be different. I like to, have fun with the people and even sometimes challenge them into, getting in character and in script with what we're trying to accomplish. I think it has its place in Carnival. It's just different, and that's what I like to be.
It's a staple in Carnival, actually. It's one of the more themed events where people take it so seriously.
Very.
It's a movement. Were you worried about how seriously people might take this theme in particular?
No, I'm actually excited. It's actually one of these that I think is going to be the most interesting dress code, because the interpretations of the characters, creating your own characters, and imagine being in a space where it's not about being the most fashionable or the prettiest or it has elite status in it. Everybody has access to the same food, the same drinks, no decks, and there's no pretense. So there's no, looking at somebody funny because what are they wearing? That's not the energy. Everyone is not taking themselves too seriously, and that makes for a fun event.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's why I'm looking forward to this in particular as well too, because it's just that sort of event this year. And
there's a lot of freedom involved.
A lot of freedom. It's freedom of expression. That's why I named it Soca Brainwash Comic will the story of expression. So each event is a story, and that one is you want to express yourself. That's what we want to harp on.
And one of the ways you guys seem to really be good at in staying within that theme is, even if you come not in theme or close enough to theme, the what we call it, the swag, the merch that you guys give out.
Yeah.
That's gonna bring you in theme anyway.
It glues you in, right? So you don't feel left out, because not everyone, or if you came down last minute, you may not have had a chance to get something, but there's always something in the event that will glue you in and make you feel part of the Soca Brainwash family, which is good. You know, that's what we want. You know, want anyone to feel left out of the experience.
And that is such an interesting perspective to have if you think about the size of the event, because wanting to be inclusive in that way, and then having an area, a venue that accommodates so many people. What's it been like for you to watch the progression over the years from a small event to now Soca Brainwash sold out before it could blink too hard? Does that put pressure on you and your team, you feel like?
Good pressure, because I mean, pressure makes diamonds, you know. So like it is always a thing that is humbling, because of course it means that people are interested in the event. They appreciate, you know, the effort that goes into it, which is what keeps it going. And the team works very hard for months to get everything in order, right? As we speak right now, there's a lot of wheels turning to get us to the finish line for it. And I consider it good pressure, because, you know, complacency is where you start to lose your edge. So I like being pressured to you know, execute and exceed everyone's you know, thoughts of what last year was. Now it's going to take a step further, and that's what I like.
You have so many different elements of creativity, and like your fingerprint is in so many different things. How do you stay creative? How do you keep honing that within you to not get tired? Because I'm tired listening to how much work it is.
I have no answer for that. It's just, it runs through me, and I guess that was my gift, you know, from DJing and you know, touring as a DJ, then making these mixes, making the music, you know, creating events, and even people don't know I draw and stuff, so I'm also artistic in terms of that. My God-given gift was creativity, so I don't feel like I'm working when I'm creating. That's the actual answer. I'm just passionate about it.
So you really have never worked a day in your life?
I did work. I did work at some point. But yeah, now that I am in this space, you know, I don't really work, because, you know, I just enjoy creating. And then I want to do other things as well too. So the legacy is still being written, because I want to inject other things into the space as well too.
Things like what? Because we are seeing things evolve over time. We just talked about the music evolving, for example. Events are evolving. So what else do you feel like you're looking to channel that into?
You know, things that are cultural based, you know, charity based, educational based, in terms of like getting people involved in the music industry. Even injecting, you know, part of it is injecting your artists into the landscape. So the first artist that has been injected through me is Mila, right? There in my head, there will be others that will come, and people will pay attention to their talents through the production. There'll be new producers, there'll be new musicians, and so collectively, there's going to be a new generation of people with music and visuals and everything that will come and propel the whole thing forward. And so those are the kind of things I wanna get involved with.
And if you consider how many things at that point that you would have been involved in, let's say Ryan is now 85 years old on his porch in a rocking chair. What makes Ryan comfortable with what he's done? Like, what is going to be that thing to make you be like, yeah, I did all right. I did good.
It will be the legacy you leave behind. You know, it's going to be how many people you've helped, how many people's lives you've changed, how have you influenced for better, how did I make you feel? And if in those metrics, you know, you have a lot of people that feel good about a song like Feel Love, or an experience in Soca Brainwash, or I met the love of my life, or I went to an event that and I danced, the friends I've made, the community that I've become a part of. There's a lot of things that are intangible that make that part of it's not the physical playing of the music and those things, which is part of what I do, but, it's tangibles that people will remember me in that way. And that's what I think would make me sit at 85. And I'm sure a lot of my friends and family will be like, just sit still for a second. That will make it all worth it.
You'll still be playing mass.
I'll still be doing something or somewhere on a beach somewhere just chilling.
And along the way, you will see some little teenager driving their Tita along the road playing Soca Starter 2015.
Correct. There you go. Someone will be playing it. Soca Starter 2015 will never die.
It will never
convinced.
die.
I get tagged in that daily. That mix in particular, every single day.
From like YouTube shares?
All from Twitter to Instagram. I think, because you're right, the generation is a thing. So my friends, I would have made that mix. Some of my friends went on to have kids. They still play that mix. Those kids now know it. They love that mix. And it keeps carrying on in circles. And then they now are listening to the new Soca Starters. So for them, at some point, there'll be a new Soca Starter 2015 for another generation. And then it'll start over and over again.
And so goes the legacy of DJ Private Ryan.
So it goes.
Actually, I was about to close, but I remembered something I did want to ask you. Sampling in Soca is, so to be fair, we've always sampled in Soca, but we've sampled internationally.
Yes.
But Soca it's becoming more popularized to sample almost itself. If we think about Out and Bad, I forget the song that sample is from here, but that's a sample. There's at least 3 songs that I can think of from this year that are also samples of old soca or old calypso. Do you see that kind of evolving even more over time, especially as someone who's in the studio yourself, like pulling back those old instrumentals and making something new and fresh out of it?
It's funny you say that because that's exactly what I want to do in terms of taking certain songs and reimagining them in a certain way, either with the artist that sang it before or bring in somebody new and let them do something interesting. But you see it, look, Travis did it this year with Tiger Baby.
Yeah.
And that will introduce Tiger Baby to a whole new market. I think Tiger Baby was 2006. Yeah, that was a while ago for that is like,
almost 20 years.
Yeah. So you wanna reintroduce some of the classics. Some of the older ones are, it's harder to sample actually. That's why you probably haven't heard them yet. Because I think who owns the masters for a lot of those? Is it Eddie Grant owns the masters to a lot of old songs. And I don't think he gives permission to say that.
Trouble.
So you have to really, so you have to really go through a lot of loopholes to get some of the older songs. I mean, hip hop does it. I don't see why soca can't sample and learn from itself. And
because it works. I think a lot of that and the reincorporation of live instrumentals as well, it's working because now the technology is such that it doesn't have to be that there's a whole big band inside. We sit down and we do the right thing in Pro Tools and you might get the same effect, but the sound itself is it's returning to that very authentic kind of...
There's a musical renaissance happening because the musical renaissance is the one that is coming because of the rise of AI. It's a whole other conversation.
And on the topic of AI, we're seeing entire albums being made with AI now. Are you afraid? Are you optimistic?
I think we're at the point where we can't be afraid of AI. We have to accept the fact that the machines are here. You know what I'm saying? It's like a real Terminator kind of Matrix kind of vibe. But AI undeniably is going to be one of the biggest revolutions humans have seen, right? Where because what makes things valuable, especially knowledge, it's how rare it is. So that's why, let's say, a lawyer or a doctor, whatever, you pay them a lot because now their knowledge base they took years to learn things and then they can solve problems based on their knowledge base.
Yeah.
AI is about to then become so now knowledge is no longer like rare. It's like literally, tell me what this is and it'll calculate it. Do this, do that. And then, when it comes to music, I believe that from DJing, I think AI is going to learn from the best DJs and start putting together songs because it's able to recommend, okay, if I want to play in an old school soca party, you can play My Lover, Pump Me Up, this, that, the other, and it'll mix it straight for you without anybody DJing.
Imagine I'll Google Gemini Soca Starter.
Exactly. Imagine a starter that a machine that listens to Soca Starter 2015 and then is able to repackage it and do it with all the starters I've ever made. And it's like, these are your most popular songs because people listen to this the most, and this part of this mix. So I'm going to piece this mix together and make it one, right? In production, they might be recommended instruments. They might be, they already have it, like recommended drummer. That will give you certain, like, all right, so this is, if this is how, let's say, for example, Colonel Roberts drums, and they know Colonel Roberts.
Yeah.
It's like, give me a pattern that he would do, boom, 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 and then it's able to do it. That's where we're going.
I hadn't even thought about all those aspects of it.
Exactly. The machine, and to not work with it is to, it's like trying to resist the internet when the internet was coming, which was a big leap as well.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the world with and without the internet, and imagine you trying to survive in the world right now without the internet. And the same happened with cell phones. The same is happening with social media, and AI is going to be another leap again.
We wait to see how that's going to affect everything else.
We'll see.
All right. If you think about the immediate drop-off that we have after Carnival, so many people have, well, we call it Carnival to banker. But that very drastic drop-off, the interest that you see in post-relief, do you feel like that signifies that there should be more, not just Fete or Carnival theme-specific things, but just more of a tapered off?
Well, I think it's actually reached that point already because, I mean, a lot of foreigners, while some leave on Tuesday and Wednesday, because some actually do leave Tuesday, some leave Wednesday, well, a lot leave Wednesday. I think just by the fact that Last Jam is already sold out on the Saturday after tells you there are a lot of people that stayed back. So it means now that Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday are major days in Trinidad and Tobago, right? The Epic Cruise will be in Tobago on Wednesday, so there'll be a lot of people there still on Ash Wednesday. There's a lot of people on Ash Wednesday who are still resting, so you see a lot of the hotels are still full of people. I do post-carnival relief, which always does well because people are still here looking for things to do. And then Last Jam has become a staple, which is sold out. So I think it actually has reached a point where Carnival's ecosystem, some actually prefer to come on the weekend so that they're able to get like brainwash and go into Carnival Sunday, do their mass on Monday, Tuesday, and stay the week as opposed to coming the week before. Some people actually choose that as opposed to so it's basically 2 weeks of intensity now, I think.
And how do you manage with all of that? Because all of your events, I feel like, serves a very specific pocket.
Yeah.
Like it tries to set itself apart while still providing a good enough service that you want to be a part of the experience. So how are you able to kind of identify what they need and then say, okay, this is what we do for this. This is what we do on this day. Like, what goes into that type of planning for you?
Product differentiation. So like for me, the differentiation, I start
a big word for Elmo. Say that again.
Yeah, product differentiation. So how I do it is, I would identify, again, what do I feel is missing? So I would, when Marshall Monday was pulled from the Monday, and I always had the Soca Baby brand, I said, you know what? A good, fun boat ride, but I don't want to do just a boat ride. Let me do something that pays tribute to Soca over the years. So Soca Baby was born, and then Soca Baby has gone on to be sold out every year. And then it's now 2 boat rides. So it's morning and evening, and both are sold out. So that shows there's a market for people who want nostalgia. They want some fun things, no frills, just come and party. This year on the Wednesday, there are options on the Wednesday, but wanted to put a nice all-inclusive option, more affordable on the Wednesday, which is where Citrus was born.
Right.
So that's new to this year. On the Thursday, which is Soca Starter, I wanted to do something that is also accessible, intimate, breakfast vibe, easy to get to. It's a good welcome to Trinidad event. So start your weekend at Soca Starter, which is where Soca Starter was born. And then Brainwash is the festival. And then I wanted to do something opposite to Brainwash where everybody dresses up on Saturday. Now you dress down on Sunday. And it's just a lot of fun. So like it's pain, and I wanted to pay tribute to Juve. So people who can't make Juve for whatever reason, because there is a market for people who, for whatever reason, whether they're too tired on Monday, or for ladies who have to put on their makeup and do their spray tans and get pretty, you know, they don't go to Juve because it's like, it takes away from my time to get ready.
Yeah.
So I put Imagine there. So Imagine is on Sunday afternoon. And so you can have all the elements. It's paint, water, mud, powder, and rhythm. It's everything.
Everything.
And oil. Yeah, there's oil too. So it has all the elements of Grenada Juve, Trinidad Juve authenticity. There's no carts, so there's no VIP. Everybody is partying together, and it's a lot of fun.
That seems really important to you, making sure that everybody, like you've chosen to attend this event, line with everybody.
Yeah, basically.
So that's
like,
a constant for you.
There's no I'm better than you. That I like that energy, because that I'm better than you energy is actually spoiling events right now worldwide. It's not even a local thing. It's a thing where everyone who wants to be on the deck, and everyone who wants to be prettier than somebody, and everyone is looking at what you're wearing, and everybody's standing up there with their table and their bottle. And there's nothing wrong with it, because I lie in these sections sometimes. But what I do realize is that it then makes this energy that, you know, I'm too pretty to party. And when you have something like that, it causes a lot of stush behavior.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's why now that's why even when viral with Marshall the other day, with the woman who's standing in the front, and they're jumping around, and you're upset because somebody's jumping around and their hair is flying all over the place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's to bring back the fete.
The fete itself.
Yes, the fete itself has to be there.
And that really is a huge responsibility that you're taking on. I feel like year on year, we're hearing about more and more events, like you mentioned, Citrus is new this year. So I guess we wait to see where you find the energy to have event 10, 11, 12, 13 in Carnival again as it evolves.
You just have to take your vitamins, try and rest when you can, drink your water, mind your business. And
that's a big one.
Yeah, no, it's true. Mind your business. Don't study. Mind your business. And, you know, after Carnival, I try to take a little rest, because the next time and then also, I mean, after comment, I have a very hardworking, great team that's dedicated to the process. So I'm there with them, but without them, you know, you wouldn't see everything come together the way it does. So, you know, kudos to them too.
Well, congratulations to you and the team. I mean, so context, right? Jalen Hurts, they just won the Super Bowl. A big part of his the interest that people have in him and his virality is based on the fact that he also has an all-female team.
Yeah.
So the truth is, there is value in identifying things like that, but there is also value in saying why that seems important. Like, it doesn't have to be that you are deliberately seeking, oh, she's a girl, I want her.
But women are just naturally more efficient. They have in a sense, right? They take projects to their heart. So when it comes to delivering a final product, I have found that women are very good at seeing things through to the end and being very dedicated to the task. You know, without ego, they just go for it. You know, so my team has a lot of women that are very hardworking women, including my sister, my mother, and others who are there in the office. And then the people we hire around on the teams, they have women. And then they have a lot of hardworking men as well too. So like, big respect to both. But I do have a lot of women on my team. It's
incredible too to have those worlds kind of come together. Because of course there's that analytical side that just do the task side, but there is also the creativity and the more qualitative aspects of event planning and that sort of thing. So it's always really good to see the two worlds come together for something good.
Yeah, it's just for something good. You know, we have a responsibility to the world. That's what I always tell them. It's like responsibilities to the world. The people who are coming who have invested time and money to come and enjoy what we've created, we have a responsibility to make sure that these events are beyond their expectation.
Yeah,
You know,
because
so
for a
that's what
lot
we
of
do.
them, a private Ryan Fete might be the only fete they go into for the year.
And that comes with responsibility. Everything comes back to responsibility. There is a responsibility. So I make sure that we are on track.